Hey everyone, how are you doing? How are you feeling today? Welcome to my first live in a very long time. I don't think that I've done this in about maybe 2 to 3 years, but it's a familiar place. It's exciting and always thrilling to being here and seeing who shows up. And I'm just very grateful for your presence of being here. You don't have to talk in the chat if you don't want to. I'm just here to just share hope, resilience, and love and admiration to you all. And today we're going to talk about the power of not giving up and how to build a resilience from that. Hey there, everyone. um, Starting off is resilience isn't something that you can necessarily create. Resilience is something that happens from making that voyage, that journey from something that's hard. That's what builds resilience. So for those of you who have been through a really hard time, challenging times in terms of finances, in terms of grief, in terms of loss, in terms of loss of self and identity, even if it's trauma, you are resilient. Everyone that's here is resilient. And everyone that's here has a story, and those stories deserve to be not only heard, seen, but they're valued. They're important, and you are the author of your story. Even acknowledging where you are today and understanding the journey that it took you to be here today is that resilience because we are often resilient without even knowing that we are. Uh, Voice is coming in a little low. I got you. Give me 1 second. All right, I moved it up some. I can also speak louder, just have a soft voice. How does that sound now? All right, sweet. And thank you for that, Yolanda. Means a lot to have that mic check and to have that response. But how are you all doing today? How's everyone that's here? How's your week been so far? And I want this to be a discussion, a going back and forth discussion the whole entire time. Just waiting on some responses in the chat, but the meantime is it's been a pretty good it's been a pretty good week for me. Working through challenges and understanding that even though I'm still healing, that I'm allowed to feel. And something that I've said in the admirer community a lot is healing is feeling or feeling is healing. They're kind of interchangeable and both belong in the same space. You say your week has been so so. Thank you for sharing that with me and just having that level of vulnerability and transparency here. This is a safe space for us to be here, to communicate, to share, to admire each other's strength, to admire what we've gone through, to admire what we've overcome. And I hope that you have a better week next week and a good weekend. Just checking to see if there's anything else. So I have my screen right here, and I have you guys right here. Um, it's the reason why I've gone such a long time without having a live is due to when I lost my warehouse space 2.5, almost 3 years ago. I didn't necessarily have that environment where it was safe to do lives without it being interrupted, without it turning into this toxic background that would have easily affected how things are online. And going into having my own place now, making a journey through homelessness, through trauma, and I'm overcoming a condition called aphasia, anoma aphasia, which is kind of like the slow capacity of the Broca's area in the brain after surviving a traumatic experience or a PTSD related experience. And so I'm working through that, and I love working through all of my challenges in real time with you all. You said you're looking forward to it and hope you have better days moving forward as well. Thank you. It takes community. I wouldn't be where I'm at today if it wasn't for community. Wasn't for the people that have been there, people that support me, the people who have been there in the metaphorical theater when I'm doing well and I'm excelling, but also those who have been there when I'm at my worst. My fiance, she's an amazing support, love, and grace, and have just been there with me throughout every single thing. And I wouldn't be able to carry forward as strong as I can without her. I'd be able to do some of it, but not everything without her. Definitely, I can see why God matched us together for sure. And I have Chloe here. Chloe's down here under my chair. She's asleep right now, wiggling. But one thing that going through everything that I've gone through from the dog mauling accident. Oh, here go Chloe. Let me show you guys Chloe. Hey, Chloe. Going through the accident and surviving losing 80% of my face, losing my nose, my upper and lower eyelid, my ears, and losing the ability to smile. Lost it all in 2 minutes. I'm very grateful and thankful for that experience because I know that my life would not be as great and as amazing as it is today if it wasn't for going through the accident. So even though that I will deal with chronic pain for the rest of my life, that I will look different for the rest of my life, that I don't have the face that I did when I was a kid, it's okay. Because I've learned to accept, I learned to embrace, and I learned to carry forward and to use my scars as like an honor rather than looking at them as a hindrance. My life was saved that way. My life was saved that day to be able to use it to save others, to help others. And tomorrow makes 5 years since I started drafting the concept for Admireware. Well, at that time it was called I Admire You, and I wanted to use affirmations and share my story with kids and young adults through a residency program that I ultimately didn't get into because they thought my idea wasn't strong enough, which that's okay because we're still here 5 years later, 124 million views and 500,000 people following me from around the world. And even the few times that I've been on stage and been to really amazing and remarkable events because it's not about exactly what I've gone through. It's about how I made it through and what I did with it afterwards. So I can go around saying all the time is that I'm a victim of a dog mauling, but that doesn't help me. And it actually, I would hate to say victim anyways, because I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor of my experience. I'm a survivor of my life. I'm a survivor of that dog mauling. I'm a survivor of 62 surgeries. I'm a survivor of PTSD, depression, suicidal ideation, self harm, bullying, discrimination, um, child abuse, and so much more. Even I'm a survivor of homelessness and sexual assault. Though that I've been through so much that feels like mountains of weight, I figured out ways to really build strength, and to learn how to carry through it. Because I can't hate life. I can't hate certain people. I don't hate pit bulls. I can't hate something that God gave life to. But what I can do is turn my tears into purpose. I know that I'm creative, that I love talking, that I love sharing, I love connecting because though we are different, there is common ground in our stories and in our experiences and in our feelings. Though we are different, we can learn to not be alone because we share, because we share the human experience together, because we build community together. Because even though there's 7 to 8 billion people out there in that world, in this world, there's still a, over dozens and dozens of people, if not millions, that can relate to you and that can identify with what you're struggling with or what you've overcome. Be able to nod their head and be like, I've been there too. Yes, it really is important to have a supportive partner by my side. Concerning aphasia, I'm surprised to know that it can be connected to PTSD. I've only heard of it being referred to stroke victims. So it's called, uh, let's have fun. Let's have fun real quick. So anoma aphasia. Anoma aphasia is a common mild language disorder characterized by fluent speech, but significantly difficulty finding words, nouns, and verbs, often describing as having words on the tip of the tongue. While speech is grammatically correct, it is often vague or long-winded, and it because it's anomic aphasia, it can be something triggered by constantly being in fight or flight survival mode attached to CPTSD, which can be worked through EDMR therapy and cognitive behavioral therapy. I suffer a lot. I suffer a lot when you say being homeless. You are a true warrior. Thank you. You are a true warrior too. We're all a true warriors. Actually, I consider us like love warriors. We're warriors of love, compassion, and kindness and admiration in this world. And doing this work for 5 years and being open, honest, and transparent with the trauma that I've been through and overcoming it, even in real time, like overcoming anomic aphasia. That's why I'm having like this kind of like lapse in speech lately. It was due to that. My therapist just told me about this the other day, and we're working on it. But um, appreciating diverse moments inspires radiant energy, and that's something that I live like warm-heartedly by. Is appreciating the journey actually can inspire hope, can inspire the things that we cannot see, but we can believe it. Right. And I know that people might laugh and chuckle at this, but you know how kids believe in Santa Claus, even though they don't see Santa Claus? I mean, they see like the mall version, but they don't see like a guy coming down their chimney. They believe in it, they have hope in it, they're inspired by it. They're even inspired to do better because of Santa. When it comes to hope, hope isn't always something that we can see, but seeing it isn't always believing. And so being able to believe, even if you can't see it, is actually how we could manifest it, how we can create it, how we can actually motivate ourselves to do better so that we can achieve it or at least try to see it. So this time, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, my bad, 5 years ago, this week, coming home from work, still dealing with, one second, still dealing with the recovery from a suicide attempt that occurred in 2020. Coming home from work, injured. I worked a mechanic job. I don't know why this light keeps flashing at me. We're gonna keep working with it for right now. I don't know why it's doing that though. Coming home from work, injured and just depressed with what's going. I don't know what's going on with that light. Depressed and wondering what am I gonna do. I'm a college student, a successful college student at that. Like I'm at the top of my class. I'm going through. Um, I'm a senior, experiencing using mental health and art therapy and creative writing all together. Yet I'm still struggling. So being able to stand in the mirror, I used to bully myself and tell myself that I hate myself, that I'm ugly, that I don't deserve to be here, that that breakup that I went through, I deserve that, that that suicide attempt that I had, that I deserve that. But this particular day I came home from work, instead of saying hateful things that I've said to myself a thousand times or that I've heard people tell me that I don't deserve to be here, that I'm ugly, that I ruined my family with my accident, that people's lives are miserable because I've had all of those surgeries. I stood there and said, I admire you for not giving up. I'm gonna fix the cord in 1 second. Just give me a moment. I said in the mirror, I admire you for not giving up. Now we got this. And and it's crazy to think, but in the span of like 14 years, 15 years, I had never given myself that amount of self-love and self-care. And it gave myself validation. Like I don't need others to tell me that I'm doing great and that I'm worthy of living life after surviving a life-altering injury and disability. But I can tell myself that I have warm approval for me, for myself being here in this world. And I don't need no one else to tell me that. I can validate my own life. And I was like, wait, this same moment, I can share this with others and help others also admire themselves too. And that's how I started just sitting here at my desk. Well, it was a whole different place, but 4 years ago, and starting to build the concept for what later became this. So let me fix this light real quick and give me a second. It's a ring light, but I don't know why it's still flashing. One second. I'm gonna hook up one of these lights that my fiance would probably tell me that I should have already plugged in and connected and not rely on the ring light. That is crazy bright. Let me dim it a little bit. All right. Let's see. All right. We're here. Got a light that ain't gonna cut off on me. Is there something important that you're learning from NAMI? Can it be useful in your journey? Let me answer this question first, and then I'll answer the next questions. What I've learned from NAMI is that there are a lot of underserved communities around this country, and there's many forces that work against it. Um, I can't speak on everything because I've signed contracts and NDAs because I am a mental health provider. But going through homelessness a few months ago humbled me, really humbled me because I worked with homeless people. And I got to go through a similar experience and journey of what it's like to be displaced, to have things thrown away, or to go through domestic violence at home and have my whole life be uprooted moment's notice while employed, while going through good things in life, having all of that, my home taken from me. Even temporarily, I couldn't even stay with my service dog. It gave me a new breath of awareness and a sense of understanding. There's a lot of things Nami has actually learned from me through the conversations that I've had, because I'm the only one on the team that's a mental health life coach certified, and that has the level of lived experience with mental health and actively working towards being an advocate in this space, unlike anyone else that's on the team. So being there, we've been able to incorporate more mindfulness, the ability to help those who are being in this fight or flight mode, understand that they are safe, teach them how they can ground themselves in the present moment. One second. I'm trying to turn off Chloe's dog food machine. Okay. Chloe has like a dog bowl behind me that automatically dispenses food. Um, Being able to help them not only figure out ways to live in the community again, because what I do is in my job, and I'm trying to find the proper words to describe my job without being overly descriptive, because that gets me in trouble. But I help those who are suffering from severe mental illness re-enter the community after being entered into a psych ward and being technically deemed that they can't live on their own. So for those who are classified by the state that they can't live on their own, I help them gain the life skills and work towards goals so that they can be independent again, so that they can believe in their own story, so that they can trust in their recovery, honor it, but also uphold it each and every day, whether it's sobriety, whether it's a gambling addiction, whether it's um, har- suicidal ideation, severe depression, and etc. I'm able to support and guide them through that process of recovery and gain the independence again. So and that work has been not only fulfilling, but it's also showed me that this is where I want to be in terms of helping people around the world, in terms of helping people find purpose in themselves, in their story, even if they feel like they've spent majority of their life losing fights, because of the fact that they've lived to survive another day, they've actually been winning, and showing people the truth in that, that we can celebrate the small wins too. And those setbacks leads to recovery, leads to healing, it leads to growth, it leads to self-acceptance, it leads to self-love, it leads to having that warm approval of self, something that this world doesn't have enough of. And this world has enough perfect people, but we need more kind people. We need more people to be kind of their minds and kind of others. Um, I'm a book that you can partially tell what happened to me based off of what you see off of my cover, but majority of the world isn't that. Majority of the world, you can't tell what someone's been through based off of what's looking at their face. You have to ask and understand there is a bigger picture behind that. They worked hard for it, even if they tried to hide it, because some trauma doesn't want to be re-seen after recovering from it. Trust me, I've been there. There's plenty of traumas that I've endured after the accident and even prior to the accident that I didn't even want to acknowledge until I was ready to deal with it. Hey, bro, been following you for a while. Glad to see that you're spreading positivity. Thank you. hmm It was the first time ever that I admire myself was that moment in the mirror. Yeah, it is awesome to help others fly again. And thank you, Michelle. Thank you, everyone who's here today. And those who are flying in and out, and who's going to watch this after I post it. What questions do any of you have for me? Because I do want this to be just an ongoing discussion and to just help me knock off some dust and doing live streams. This is always a fun place to be. And this has always been a safe space that I've built. I didn't have spaces like this before I built this. There was, when I was a kid, um, you know how I guess kids look up to certain like superheroes and role models growing up, or even celebrities and notable figures? There wasn't someone who was African American, who was a man, who had a facial impairment and was creative in using their story to add to this world rather than using their story as a pity party. There was no one that represented that for me growing up. And that defeated me a little bit. But I was like, you know what? If I don't see it, I can create it. And then the next person can look up to me and be inspired by me. They won't have to go through a lot of that hard work that I went through, believing without seeing. When they see me, they get to believe and also see and obtain that hope and that inspiration and motivation a little bit faster than I did. Because I had to create who I am today. I didn't have this. And even each and every day, I'm still evolving. I'm still becoming. I'm still blossoming. I'm still blooming. And some days I wilt and I blossom and bloom again. I'm a rose, and this rose has seasons. Being homeless taught me that being in that situation didn't mean that I had to be defeated or have a defeated attitude or mindset. I love that perspective, Yolanda. Being homeless taught me that I'm in a situation. Yes. Could this have been avoided? Yes, ultimately. It could have been avoided. Was I wrong for standing up for my fiance and setting boundaries? No, I was not wrong. I was right. And I would do it all over again if I had to. I was fearful and I was scared, but I knew that I could not give up. And it taught me that even though I have nothing, that I have two things. I have myself and I have my faith that I believe in something that's bigger than me, which for any of you that have been a part of the 12-step program with AA, they talk about that. I've never been in AA, but I know about the 12-step program because I learned about that during my suicide recovery. Is believing in something that's bigger than me. So when I had nothing, I believed in me and I believed in something that was bigger than me, which is God for me personally. And I had the support of my partner. I wouldn't made it through without those three things for sure. Can you make a home tour of your home someday? Definitely. I can definitely do that someday. I'm really proud of this space and how it came together with the collaboration of my partner. And she's a industrial designer, and there's a few things that I picked that I was like, "You gotta absolutely have that," but we wouldn't have this layout if it wasn't for her. She did a great job of designing this place to the highest detail for sure. Sometimes you post messages with tears in your eyes or streaming down your face. It breaks my heart sometimes. Well, what are those moments like for you? What is it like? What are you experiencing in those moments? Are you reflecting on past experiences? And is that why? I'm gonna take you down memory lane. Growing up and surviving the accident, oddly enough, that causes a lot of pain. Like, that's not surprising. But what's odd about it is that I wasn't allowed to really express that. I didn't have the safe space to cry all the time. I was told, "What am I crying for?" Um, that I'm too loud, that I could be quiet, that I'm making it up. And so that created a lot of childhood trauma that me as a boy at that time wasn't allowed to cry, wasn't allowed to express it. So I didn't really start processing pure sadness and tears until I was an adult and being in college. And I would say even then I didn't have a great grasp on what sadness, pure sadness and tears feel like to be able to just weep and how that's a healthy emotion. I was told that, oh, I'm not strong because I'm having tears. But going through the pain, the the challenges, the adversities, even experiencing trauma after the accident that arguably could have been just as big as the accident internally as the accident affected me externally. That it hurts, that it bothers me, that it still causes me to have bad days and I still deal with depression from it. And some of those wounds, they still show up, but they don't hurt as much as they used to. And so, yes, it is that with everything that I do in this world, that you see, that you consume, even my graphics, they're from the heart. They're from a heart that is healed, that is recovered, that has stitches and staples, a heal that has learned to be human. Like I've had to learn as an adult to be human, not as a child, to how to deal with human emotions, but as an adult, what does it mean to be human? What does that mean for me? What does it mean to be masculine in my own right rather than toxic masculinity? What is it like to be healthy and safe and go and check myself into therapy and to know that I need that because of what I've gone through? That in order to not be my parents, I had to learn to be myself and learn how to heal from their mistakes that caused damage to me. So yeah, there's videos where I experience hurt and they bother me and that it's hard getting through them, but it's worth it. The journey is worth it more than the end result. And I take a lot of pride from the journey itself of how did I get here today? It took tears, it took pain, it took long nights, it took not wanting to be here and overcoming that to be here. It took uncomfortable conversations. It took uncomfortable moments with family members and even with my fiance to be here. And so the journey isn't pretty. I don't think most things in life aren't pretty, but it's uniquely special and it's mine. And what's powerful for me is that I've turned those tears into roses. Roses was my friends when I couldn't have them. I had so many surgeries that I couldn't be around people that didn't live in my home because in your house you're used to everyone's germs that you live with, so you built up immunity to them. But for those who are outside, you didn't build immunity to whatever they're doing in in their life, and there are sicknesses that can happen. And for me, I was immunocompromised, and my mom got me 3 rose plants, and she said these roses would be your friends, and you couldn't have when I can't have friends. And they were. I talked to them every single day. I watered them. I gave them names, and I watched them wilt, and I watched them not grow. They went a year without growing, and then one year they bloomed and they wilted. But there was a year in particular where I was chatting with them that I understood that there was a red rose, white, and yellow, and the white rose was wilting while the red and the yellow was blooming. And I watched them and I was very sad and I grieved and mourned that white one. But one particular day I came outside, I've noticed that the red roses and the yellow started to wilt. The white one was blooming again, but not the same way that it had been. It was more so a mutation of yellow and red, kind of making this weird orange whitish color. And then gave me, I guess, maybe the first sense of wisdom that I've obtained from nature. Imagine I'm only like 11 years old at this time, is that sometimes we have to pour from our cup in order to give life to someone else's, to give to someone who doesn't have anything. And watching those roses pour for themselves to give life to another rose showed me that I have to pour from my cup in order to help someone else out. And even in that action of selflessness of pouring, that it actually helps me. Because what I thought about that white rose wilting is the red rose and the yellow rose is missing one of their friends. And they gave a bit of themselves to have their friend back. That helped them ultimately in the long run. So that's a weirdo kind of like perception of it, but that's how I coped with building resilience and surviving storms when I had no one to tell me how to do it. I learned it from roses. So that's why like roses are huge to me. I have rose tattoos, I have rose designs, and I always say that I'm turning tears into roses. I cried with those roses. And I think it's a beautiful thing to be able to give roses to someone else, especially men, because most men don't receive their roses until they're gone for the first time. So being able to give men roses are huge to me and being able to inspire that. Also, Romans, if you didn't know that um, Romans before they entered battle, they gave each other roses. Just a fun fact. Um, Tears are not a sign of weakness. I notice art on your wall. Did you draw those yourself? It relaxes me much with my hobbies. What are yours? I'm curious. So I didn't draw this art that's on my wall behind me. Can Okay. So someone on Instagram named Time Wave made this painting of me. It is the first art that I received, a portrait of myself from the community. And I make sure to look at it each and every day and to keep it above my wall. It means a lot to me to have that rose over my left eye. Okay. Um, my hobbies are photography, poetry, writing short stories, playing video games, hiking, napping is oddly enough a lovely hobby. I love long rides, long drives, and I do drive. Um, I love fishing. I love sightseeing. I love going on long walks, and I there's definitely a plethora of activities that I've added to my wellness toolkit that are hobbies of mine. What is your what is your favorite hobby right now? Say my favorite right now is hiking. Hiking is my favorite hobby right now. But what is your favorite hobby? Thank you. It is a beautiful picture. A picture. Um, how did we meet? We met in high school. Me and Stephanie met in high school, and we were in the same art class. We were in the same math class, but we didn't really talk to each other. And there was an after school matters program that a teacher wanted me to be a part of. And Stephanie was already a part of that arts program. And that's how we got introduced to each other is by that teacher. And Stephanie showed me about the arts and about that particular group, which ended up becoming the after school matters program that we ended up joining together was called True Star. It's a graphic design after school program where high schools get to learn about how to make editorial content for editorial covers for magazines for a teen magazine called True Star here in Chicago. And I would say the rest is history. We stayed friends in high school and we ended up dating in college. Then after we both graduated is when we really um, took just everything 1000% serious. And I would say the rest is history. And now we're engaged and we're getting married in 78 days. 77 days we're getting married. So we're high school sweethearts. We had a crush on each other back then. It's just the stars didn't align at that time. And everything happens for a reason. So that's a long, long story, very, very short on how we first met and how we got together. And I can tell you that we did the science fair together in high school. I beat her in the science fair, but she wouldn't have convinced me to do the science fair if she didn't tell me this one thing during we were in after school tutoring for chemistry, and I smiled in front of her, like just smiled. And I didn't smile a lot in high school. I was getting bullied a lot, so I didn't smile. She said, "Oh my, like you have a cute smile. You should smile more." And she was the only person in high school that can get me to smile. And to this day, um, knowing each other for 10 years, she's the only person in my life who can get me to smile all the time. Even during hard times, she gets me to smile. And I'm thankful for her for that. So she's the reason why I smile more. And even thinking about her right now got me smiling a lot. Thank you. I got my engagement ring on, but this is also my wedding band. So it's a beautiful journey. It's a beautiful story, and we definitely will be sharing more of it together. Especially on this platform, just can't share all the details yet because we're still working on it. But Stephanie has not only grown with me, but also Steph is great at challenging me to be a better person, to be a better man, to be a better creator. I mean, she's really an inspiration for me. I know I'm an inspiration for her, and she really encourages me, even on my hard days when like my depression is really getting to me. But even with the days like where I'm not performing my best, she's always inspiring and motivating me to keep continuing to never give up. And I couldn't ask for a better partner, honestly. So she's a rock star in my eyes, and she's um, she's a great leader, and she's a great wellness coach, and a great person. So I know she's probably listening to me because she's here. It's just there's a curtain that we have up to where we can't see each other doing lives, but we can hear each other through this door. So I don't know if she's listening or if she's here in the crowd, but yes, love, I'm talking about you. What other questions that you all have for me in the last 15 minutes that we have together? This is the great and amazing conversation. This is my first live in 3 years. They're only going to get better from here. And honestly, you guys are going to watch me really do some amazing things that I can't talk about yet this year alone. Yeah, meeting Dana White was amazing. And I'm just going to give you one line from what he told me. Oddly enough, is that he found me from an Instagram post that I made that's not even like viral. That's not even like one of my biggest posts. It's actually like one of my least seen posts in 2025. Um, he said he reached out to me because I don't give up. That I could have easily laid in my bed and given up on life and been mad at the world and like victim blame and victim tout myself for what I've been through, but I've choose to overcome it. That I chose to not give up, and that's why he is inspired by me and why he reached out to me. That means a lot to me from hearing from someone of his stature and where he's from. To hear that from him and his team did research on me and etc. And that gave me more motivation coming back from Vegas to know that yeah, it's my purpose to show people to not give up. Though that it seems easy, it's actually really hard. It's really hard to not give up. It's easy to give up, and it's hard to keep fighting. And it means a lot to be able to show people what it looks like in real time to persevere, to acknowledge self resilience, to appreciate diverse moments, inspiring radiant energy within inside of them, to understand the power of being seen, to have empathy, self empathy, and empathy for others, to admire the journey instead of just the end result, to appreciate those small wins, to acknowledge those moments, and to understand that though all wounds cannot be seen, they still have to be cared for because time doesn't heal all wounds. You can live 10 years of your life and not heal from anything. Imagine, I went, so we're 18 years in from my accident. I went 14 years not giving myself self love. So in 14 years, even though I grew physically, mentally, spiritually, and I like my mental psyche grew, but not really because I like that care. I didn't care for the mental wounds as much as I should have, the way that the doctors cared about my physical wounds. I didn't even take that much care in my own mental health, even though they forced me to go into therapy several times because they knew that my PTSD was so severe. But that one moment, standing in the mirror and telling myself, I admire me for not giving up and that I got this, changed the rest of my life. And that's why I use that sentence to change the lives of anyone around the world. Even if to this day, I only had one follower, 5 years and one follower, reaching one person is enough. Reaching millions is more than enough. But at least knowing that I reached at least one person helps me continue to do it. And now knowing that I reached 124 million people around the world is ecstatic. And that's what seeing that number shows me that I'm gonna that I have purpose to do this for the rest of my life. How come you're not responsive in your comments and your posts sometimes? The noisy people seem to get energy from you even though you're exposing them. Such as the frog comment, sorry to mention. I saw that video at 2 a.m. and woke up in the morning with it on my mind. It bothered me for the rest of the day. Because what is wrong with people? That's amazing. Let's see, how can I? So 3 years ago, when I first started to become like social media famous, I gained 100,000 followers in just maybe 6 months on TikTok, and I was receiving thousands of comments. But I started really receiving a lot of thousands of hate comments. People saying that, oh, if they saw a face, if they had a face like mine, they would kill themselves, that they wouldn't be here anymore. That why am I here? Why am I making content? People are using my videos to posting them in group chats just to make fun of me, and then they would come back and make memes about me. So I have a lot of trauma from my comment sections for sure, and it affected the way I create content. It actually made me want to give up and not even be where I'm at today in terms of having over 2,000 videos published online and all of the articles that I've done. So I reduced my time of reading comments and going through them and extensively so that I can preserve the creativity behind the work. The work I create goes into this world, and I can't change how people respond to it, but I can keep boundaries on how I respond to feedback. And a lot of people are disingenuous. So I'm making the effort now, and I promise this, is to start reading comments more and replying to them more than I have been in the past. Because there was a while that I didn't reply to anything because some of them hurt. And a lot of them are great, but some of them really bothered me and it made me scared to like check DMs and like open message requests. Also, like I work a full-time job and I have to make a video a day and all this stuff. Like it's about like time management. So I only have so much time to like answer and reply to so much. But I would say like that was the beginning of like going through that during 2023 made me realize that if I want to continue to be a motivational speaker and to help people around the world, that I couldn't spend hours consuming my comment section because it made me have self doubt. It affected my motivation. It affected my own confidence. And it affected how I even had hope. So I had to reduce some of that. just so I can better protect the work that I want to share. Saw you for the first time at this September of 2024. Looked for you all over the internet with no luck. Didn't remember your name, and then February 2025. Did not know your voice or your name, but when I heard you and mentioned them all, I was glad that I found you. Thank you for finding me. You know what's weird is that um, because of how the algorithm structured for social media, that a lot of health and wellness creators lose connection with their followers for a weird amount of time. Like there's people who followed me since the beginning and don't know that I still make content because the algorithm doesn't show them my content no more. And people who have been unfollowed. So I'm just so glad that you found your way back to me throughout all that time. And I have your messages here on Instagram. And so tonight, I'll, I'm going to be replying to you. And I just thank you for being one of the people who consistently showed up even during good and bad videos because I critique myself. I know that there's good content that I've made. I know there's content that could have been better, and I know that I'm growing. And even as live, it's going to get better and better throughout time because it was just the beginning to something far larger that I want to do. And I want to actually break through the screen because I've been on a screen. I've been on people's phones for 5 years, 124 million views. I want to be in person. I want to speak. I spoke in front of 2,500 people December 2022 in Atlanta. I want to get back to doing that, if not on a weekly, on a monthly basis. And I want to talk in front of people around the world and come to you all cities, you all's countries, the corners of the world, and speak and help people build community within their community and bring it everywhere because I value those in-person connections. But for the meantime, we're going to continue to make mobile content and get the message out there and to be there for you during your late nights and through your long scrolls and through the times that you need it the most, but also during the times where you're preparing, where you're in a good place that you need that extra encouragement to get through it. You are growing and I'm here for it. Thank you. First time I saw you was Unwritten Beauty. You talking about Burned Beauty 2018? Tanya? I call her my auntie. She calls me nephew. I love that episode that we did together. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that's first the first podcast that I did since starting Admireware. I'll have to go double check that. Unwritten Beauty. You have to send that to me then. Cause where is Unwritten Beauty? Also, I found out recently that my content has been everywhere. And that's just awesome that people have shared and reposted my content. Unwritten Beauty. Unwritten Beauty, but I have seen the interview on Burned Beauty. Let me just type this in real quick before you go. Um, Joshua Dixon. I'm gonna have to go find it. I want to go find it because I know I have here Burned Beauty with Joshua Dixon, and then I know that I wrote an essay because I'm a published essayist called "The Beauty Worth Admiring" by Joshua Dixon. That's in a book named Hood Wellness. by Tamla Gordon, but I'll find it. Okay, thank you. And I would love to talk in schools. So I'm in the process of having more speaking opportunities this year. Last year, I did a good job, but homelessness really threw me off, and I feel like I wasn't marketing myself well. So this year, I'm making a huge initiative to market myself better, to advocate better, to enhance my knowledge. I am working through this anomia aphasia. I'm gonna write that in the chat for anyone who wants to research that and in its relationship to PTSD with the Broca's area. It's really bothering me because I used to not have this lapse in speech prior to September, and it's tough. It's very, very tough. Like that first Admire talk that I did, 1 hour straight with no edits, no cuts, and I didn't even have a script for that. I had 3 bullet points. Ooh, I went through like so much doing that speech. And I'm so very proud of myself to get that out because there was moments where I was really struggling. And so now we're working through EDMR um, therapy to just reconnect and redefine and um, heal that trauma in the Broca's area so that I can go back to the fluidity and complexities that I'm accustomed to doing and being prolific at for all of these years. But we are an hour in, and I'm going to end this live stream in just a moment. I'm going to end this live stream in just a few moments, and then me and my lovely partner are going to go make some dinner. You did a great job, though, speaking from your heart. That must be the parts that we did not see. Yeah. No, actually, that was from the heart because I actually cried. I had tears that came down my face during the Admire talk. It was a very emotional talk for me. And one thing about those emotions that you have to learn is talk. During that talk, and even during this, it was like, man, I want to do more of this. Like, it really made me hungry to do more. Then the next month, I went and saw Dana White at UFC, and it really reshifted my focus on like, I'm great at making content, but I'm not great at marketing myself. Like, I'm honest about that. So I need to work really, really hard on that marketing aspect so that I can continue to do that impact that I thirst for so much. Like I'm hungry to continue to make that impact and to do it in real time because I know that it's important. I know that it's needed. I know that it's valued. I know that I've saved lives from it, and I want to leave. I want to leave you out with this. So 2022, maybe March of 2022, there was someone that reached out to me on Instagram and they said that I'm gonna leave out some of the harsh details and just summarize it a little bit. The um they said that I almost didn't make it to today. And I was scrolling late and contemplating and planning out my exit out of this world. I'm just, um, saving you some of the graphic details. But they said that while scrolling, they saw my video and that it saved their life, that it inspired them to just cry, to get some rest. And when they woke up that next morning, they made sure to text me and let me know that my video saved their life. That video only had like 1,000 views, if not a little less than that. The camera quality wasn't great, but the heart was there. And that video, ultimately, the response from that video, that person telling me that they wouldn't have been here if they might have not saw that video, and that video inspired them to stay. Um, that meant the world to me because that was the first moment since starting Admireware where I noticed that there was building building connections with people around the world and achieving what I was hoping to do, was to save lives from suicide, was to save to help those who are suffering in silence, to let them know that they're not alone, to let them know that they are enough, to let them know that they are loved, to let them know that they are admirable, to let them know that they deserve to be here in this world, whether they like it or not. They deserve to be here in this world, to understand that, like, regardless of what they've been through, personal characteristics, gender identity, traumas, and etc. Um, regardless of their political affiliation, that they have presence and that their story is powerful and meaningful in this world. And that by seeing people and acknowledging the power of being seen and understanding that we have to have compassion and understanding and empathy for others and admire them can save lives. And doing that was like, all right, let's keep making content. Let's keep making videos. Let's keep sharing my story. And I did it all alone, like making those videos, editing those videos. I built the website by myself, the admireware.com website. I took this, like all of this alone. And that started from those early supporters and those early people showing me that what I was doing was making a difference. Whether I knew it or not, I had confirmation that I was making a difference. And that's important for anyone, and even for um, people who are going to watch this years from now, is remember to tell yourself that you are doing great, that you're doing the best that you can with what you got, and that you got this. And if you're not used to it, I'll encourage you to try this challenge. And if you're not doing it already, to tell people that you love and care about, maybe even strangers, tell them that you're proud of them and that you admire them. And you could just leave it at that. And I can tell you, based on experience, that that means the world and it means mountains for people. So I love you all. I hope you have a great night. I'll see you again in 2 weeks. And feel free to leave questions for next week's live or next week or any videos coming up here in the comments of this video, or even on the YouTube community page where you can make posts. You can do that there. You can also email me via the website. There's multiple ways to reach me, and I do eventually see things. It does take me time, but I do see them, and I write them down, and I do use that to make the next thing. So thank you for staying here. Thank you for staying here another day. You deserve to be here. I love you. Have a beautiful and amazing weekend, and keep up the hard work that you're doing out there. And even if you might feel like you're not doing your best, trust me, I know you're doing great. You're doing great with the cards that you have in your hand. So love you. See you next time. Bye.